Hi. Ohio. Gentlemen. I'm only in this car because I had to get the thumbnail for the stream. But, yeah, so we're going to be driving this in the next race, or episode, I should say, if you're watching this on YouTube. But for now, before we go to Fuji, I'm going to, well, Japan anyways, I guess, so, yeah. And, not Nismo. That's not where I'm going. I'm going to TRD, and I'm going to be buying this thing. You probably already saw it in the thumbnail of the stream or the video, so yeah, not really much of a surprise here. But there's a reason that I'm buying the 7th Gen Celica. This is the only model of it in the game. So, yeah. Anyway, I actually need to get some stuff for this, because this is a weird championship. There's a certain pattern that I recognized whenever I was like trying to get a thumbnail for the race. The opponents were like the exact same cars over and over again. Of course, like it's a bigger pool than just 6 cars. But one thing that I noticed in particular is that the cars all had like set paint colors. So every time S2000 showed up, it was always white. Every time an FC RX-7 showed up, it was always red. There was a red SL500 or something like that, or SL55. So on and so forth. And considering it's called the Polyphony Digital Championship, I think these cars are actually like the personal vehicles of Polyphony employees at the time of this game, because I guess it would make sense. It's called the Polyphony Digital Championship after all. But yeah. And so, to kind of fit with the theme, I know I'm not a Polyphony employee, but I figured I would use a personal car of my own. And considering this game is from 2004, my current car doesn't exist in this game, but one car that I used to own did. And that is a 7th Gen Celica GT. Of course, this model is a Celica Sports M, a TRD model. So, I mean, it's the closest I can get to it. But, yeah, close enough. And I thought it'd be fitting for this video, so. And I also wanted to use, like, a 7th Gen Celica at some point in this series, so there we go. I think my original plan for this championship was to use an earlier FDRX7, like a 93 or something like that, but these cars, these opponents, there's a couple of them that are OP, but most of them are not really that fast at all. I mean, obviously the main contender here is going to be the Nismo Milady Z, starting in P1, go figure. Not only does this have to be winnable, but I also don't want to lose too many races and have to come back and redo them later on. And you know what? I'm not even going to waste the time. I'm just going to go ahead and consider that doomed. So, let's just go ahead and re-roll this. Audi S3. You know what? I'll try it out. Of course, the fastest car is starting out in front again. I think that S3 is going to be even faster than 350 now that I think about it. Only one way to find out. This could take like several attempts. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be anywhere near as far ahead as the last car, so I think this might be fine. Especially if the tire wear isn't really that bad and I can put the softs on for the next races. This actually has really short gears too, which is nice. Doesn't take forever to go in between gears. Uh-oh, that's a little bit of wheel spin. Alright, well, I guess I'm sticking with this lineup. I'm actually kind of surprised that the S2000 is keeping up with this thing, if not actually catching up. Yeah, and YouTube notifications really do be like that. They would just work whenever they feel like it. Yeah, I'm using the Fanatec DD Pro. Have been for a pretty thick minute. Need these tires to warm up ASAP. Yeah, so this was actually, well, not this one specifically, but the 7th gen Celica was my first ever car. GT trim, manual transmission, total shitbox, but I miss it. Low key. Slow as an ancient tortoise. Alright, well, it seems like this is going to be very anticlimactic. My car only has, like... Well, not my IRL car, but this car only has 251 horsepower after the upgrades. But I guess it's just light enough to make up for it. Time to use economy tires? Absolutely not. Honestly, the quicker I get through this, the better, because I'm going to be here quite a while today. It's like not going to be anywhere near my longest stream I've ever done, but we'll save the super long stream for either Formula GT or the final 24 hours of the game. Which, so far, I am planning to do the final race all in one sitting. I'll have to split it up into, like, 3 streams because of the way YouTube works, and if your stream goes over, I think it's either 10 or 12 hours, but if you go over that, then it will either, like, just not show the VOD at all, or it'll, like, cut off the beginning part of it or something. I forgot how it goes exactly, but you don't really want to go over 10 hours on a stream. So that will be a minor annoyance, having to restart it a few times, but it would be a nice way to end off the series, just do the entire 24-hour race in one sitting, 24-hour stream. It'll probably end up being like 25 or 26 with breaks and stuff, but as long as I get the series done before November, I'll be happy. The black cars show up at day 2, or no, not 2. What am I saying? 694 to 700, I think. Something like that. And as you probably saw by the thumbnail, I will be using the Stealth Edition, or the Black Edition R92 CP for the Fuji 1000, which, yes, I know I win the regular R92 CP from it, but yeah. at that point it'll be too late in the series to actually use that version of the car with or in any race, so kind of running out of opportunities here. Now that I think about it, I kind of wish I did the other 24-hour race first, and then use the Sauber C9 for the one without chicanes as the last race, because I've literally like never had the chance to drive the Sauber in like a casual playthrough. Nor the Audi R8, but you can drive that in one of the mission races if you feel like, or no, it's the license test, one of the S license tests. I mean, I'm using the latest version, but after you install the wheel software that with whatever wheel you have, and if you have force feedback cutout problems like I did, then you just need to map both of your USB slots to your steer left, steer right, and force feedback bindings. Don't know how that works, but it basically overrides the force feedback cutout problems and fixes it, pretty much. Oh yeah, that's right. It is both the license and the mission. I forgot about the mission. That's a 3-lap battle. I'm probably going to take this turbo kit off, but at the same time, that just means the races will be longer. Then again, most races in this series have basically been a time trial run with me, myself, and I. Nope, I had no problems yesterday. The reason why I was having a I had zero force feedback on the Nürburgring 4-hour is because I didn't have the Fanatec software installed on my PC, because I just upgraded to Windows 11 like right before that, and I forgot to do that. But it's been fine now. It's gonna suck for the next race and all of Formula GT and all of the 24-hour race, because everybody knows the force feedback in this game basically does this as you're going down the straight and you can't stop it. So I'll have to screw around with the settings a little bit. I know, like, I said this before, but somebody a few months ago left a comment saying to use power assist in the in-game steering options, so I turned that on, and it's definitely way better. But I don't remember this, like, that well, but I think I also tried to change, like, the steering mode from, like, simulation to amateur. I don't remember what difference that made, but I could have sworn I found something that would stop, like, at least most of the force feedback shaking on high downforce cars. I need to try that again, because whatever I tried, I clearly didn't save. I haven't even been thinking about, like, of all the races that I'm doing, I haven't thought about Tsukuba 9 hour one bit. That's probably going to be the most brutal out of all of them. Probably not worse than the 24, obviously, but yeah. That one will be rough. But at least it won't feel like a time trial because Tsukuba's a small track and I'll be lapping opponents quite often. That might have to be like a 2-part race. I don't think I'm going to do that entire thing in one sitting. I guess it depends on how masochistic I'm feeling that day. Alright, well, looks like tires have held up decently well. I don't think I'm going to switch to the softs. I think mediums are just going to work fine for most of these races. This isn't Spec 2. There's no option to change that. This is the vanilla game. I started this series way before Spec 2 was even conceived, so... Alrighty. Well, first race done. Exhilarating. Honestly, kind of surprised the S2000 beat the S3, but yeah, whatevs. And, yeah. Doop. Next race. And Seattle reverse, 7 laps. Not too bad. Although Seattle reverse is like way more awkward than the normal direction. Yeah, so the GT4 Online version was what changed the hood view from analog to digital HUD. Or the roof view, rather. Spec 2 just like gave you the option to do whatever with it. The base game was like this from the start. Man, the Z clipping is so bad on this track. No, it's not a Supra. I mean, it would be nice. I actually kind of like the new generation Supra. It's been growing on me the past few years, even though it is like polluted with BMW junk. But I have a supercharged FRS, and I don't know. I'm kind of ready to get rid of it, but I'm also kind of ready to, like, bring it back from the brink of death. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, to be honest. If I'm gonna get the car, like, track prepped and turn it into, like, an actual full-time track car, it's probably gonna need, like, bare minimum $5 grand of work. And that's just for the car alone. At that point, I wouldn't want to drive it to the track. I'd rather tow it, so I would need a truck. That's a good 30 grand. I would need a trailer. That's a good 5 to 10 grand. I would need some leftover money for tires and maintenance and emergency funding if the engine blows up or whatever, so that's basically infinite money I would need to save. But, yeah. I was kind of hoping I'd be ready to get into that stuff way sooner, but it just... this economy is screwed right now. So, it's gonna be a while still. Could buy a tow truck. I mean, well, if I'm buying a tow truck just to tow my car, then that would be a fortune. But, I have actually thought about this. I've been thinking about, like, businesses to start. Of course, they're all, like, pipe dreams and stuff, but I think the smartest thing to do would be to start a business that I could actually use for my own, like, personal projects. Like a towing company, I could just use to tow my cars. If I were to start, like, a construction company, I could use that to build, like, a shop or a house or something like that. If I started a concrete company, I could pour a driveway that I want, or stuff like that. Just, like, take advantage of things like that. Make a company that would be very useful for myself long term. But I don't know the slightest thing about starting a business, so... that's yet another thing I'd have to go down a huge rabbit hole to figure out and learn. And plus, I don't have the capital for that either. I would have to take out a pretty meaty business loan to do something like that. And so I kind of have a plan for that, though, but I don't really want to go over it until GT4 is done, because I don't even know what's going to happen after GT4 is done. Because, like, there's a few things I could do with the channel, and a few things I could do, like, to leverage everything to benefit me, like, long term. But I don't want to go over it just yet. I mean, GT5 it's one of those things that I kind of want to try out, but I know it's not going to get anywhere near enough views or growth compared to the amount of time I'd have to put into it. GT4 is, like, it's the cult classic Gran Turismo. Like, it's always going to get views, I think. But GT3, even GT2, GT5, those like pale in comparison, and they just don't have the viewership. It is, but not anywhere near enough to even like consider doing this full time. This is purely just like a little bit extra every month. Even if I go like posting GT7 regularly, that probably won't be enough either. Like it would be a 24/7 job trying to keep up with news and updates, and I would also have to do a better job than everybody else that's doing it right now. Because everybody else already has like an established like viewership because they've been doing it ever since the start. It's got to be worth like the time and effort. Because like let's say you put like a total of 100 hours into something that's just never gonna have the chance of working, then that's 100 hours of your life gone, essentially. You gotta do something that makes sense. Nope, this is just regular GT4 emulated with texture mods. Or texture packs, I should say. Yeah, I'm thinking like if I do start like a side gig or a business or something, it's not going to be something that I'm super passionate about. It's going to be something that I can learn, get familiar with the market, and then just turn a solid profit. Because sometimes passion projects, they just don't pay. Or there's not a market for it. even whenever it comes to like YouTube, like YouTube is a lot of people's passion project, especially at the start. And then they start getting paid for it, and then they kind of have to change it from a passion project to like a legitimate business that actually tries to get viewership, get business like deals and products and or product reviews or whatever their goals are. Sometimes that's kind of what people want to do like from the very start, but I mean, it's kind of less of a passion project from the start, if that's your approach to it, and it's just like straight up business. If I were to do YouTube the way I wanted to do it this whole time, then I'd probably have like maybe a tenth of my subscriber base. Whenever I saw stuff that eventually started working in the algorithm, I kind of like capitalized on that fully until I basically burned myself out. It's just the way she goes. Okay, that was terrible. And I've almost lapped this Peugeot. This field is very, very split. And I guess my car being insanely OP in comparison kind of contributes to that a little bit. But let's quickly move on. Get this thing over with. Next race. At Infineon Stock Car. Yeet. These are some deadly curbs in that corner. This S2000 is actually kind of quick around here. But not quick enough. I was kind of really hoping they would bring this track back to GT7. I mean, Formula 1 tracks are okay, I guess, but not really my thing. I'm not really sure then, really. It's probably going to just have to be something you have to figure out on yourself, or by yourself, because... yeah. If it's an issue that I've never had with, then I can't really help with it. All I can really do is share my own experience. I mean, there was like a period of time where 1.7, or actually, yeah, the old versions of 1.7 QT, where the force feedback was weird. I forgot what it exactly did, but I mean, I've been on the very latest version for like several months, and other than it cutting out randomly, it's been just fine. You also got to make sure that you're not, like, turning on the USB after you boot the game, or loading in a save state where your wheel isn't plugged in, because the game can be kind of weird whenever you try to connect the wheel after it's already running. Ooh. I just had a random really good idea. for something cool, but I won't say what it is. I might actually be able to lap the Peugeot this race. Seems like I am less than a quarter of a lap behind it. Or rather, it is more than 3/4 of a lap behind me. Yeet. Yeah, these are kind of long for road cars, especially like the slower kind of road cars. And there's 10 of them. I've already been streaming for... Wow, I've been streaming for almost 50 minutes so far, and I'm only on race 3. I probably spent like the first 15 minutes dilly-dallying in the menus though, but I still have a 5-hour race to do after these. In a Group C car, on a wheel, at Fuji, for 228 laps. I'm pretty sure there's a Motorland race in this series that's 19 laps long. Unless I'm thinking of like Dream Car Championship at beginner course. I do know there is a Motorland race for this series though, for sure. Oh, can I lap it? Yep, we got it. Noob. Alright, let's just quickly skip through this. We're speed running at this point. I have 30 points in the championship. Yeah. There it is. 30, 18, 12, 8, 7, 3. Next race. I still find it weird how they put beginner course in the Dream Car Championship for the memes. Also, this is only 8 laps, but this is kind of a longer track. Wheel spin like crazy. I probably should have done this yesterday, to be honest. We only did GT4 online for like 3 hours. Would have been nice to do a 5-hour stream yesterday and a 5-hour one today, instead of like a 3-hour one and then a 7-hour one. But I mean, 7 hours isn't crazy long though. I mean, I usually work 10 hours on my feet. Except this kind of work is mind-numbing and actual work is soul-crushing. That's pretty much the main difference. Bonk. Is it just like your hardware is old, or is it like overheating? Because I know you said like your PSU and something else was, or your SSD I think, were causing problems. Wait, is this a 6-speed? I don't even remember. I guess we'll find out here in a second. Oh, it is. Nice. Oh yeah, that's right. I think the Celica GT, which is like the lower trim of the 7th gen, is a 5-speed, and the GTS is the 6. That's right. At least, like, for the American versions. And I think UK versions, too. Don't remember. Okay, that was awful. Yeah, the last PSU that I had was approaching. Well, I think I got it in 2014, like January 2014. And then I just got a new one earlier this year, so that one lasted about 14 years. No, not 14. 11. 11! Also, what's up, T. Kenji? No, I was just going over, like, the differences between the Toyota, the 7th gen Celicas. Because I used to have one. It was actually my first ever car. 2001 Celica GT. And it was a 5-speed. 5-speed. with a whopping 140 horsepower that felt more like 60. I also blew the engine on it in like the first month. I think what happened was somebody... So either one of two things happened with that. Either somebody... So those cars have like notorious oil burning issues. I don't know like what exactly causes the oil burning problem. I think it's just poor design, of course. But after a month of having it, I burned up all the oil in the engine, and it started rod knocking and seized up on the highway. And it was either burning oil already before I got it, or I did like money shift it once as I was learning how to drive a manual, and it kind of shot a little bit past CRP, the red line, for like a split second. But I didn't notice it like having any engine damage like immediately after, so I probably like fried a ring or something, or it was just burning oil before. So that was a fun experience. Is yours a custom-built PC, or is it a pre-built? The Italian Stallion, what's up? Also Root. How long do I got? This is race number 4, so 6 more after this. If you mean for the rest of the series, I just have like 2 more extreme events after this, which is Formula GT and Dream Car, and then 2 more endurance races. No, 3 more. Fuji, Tsukuba, 9 Hour, and the final 24 hours of Le Mans. Pre-built, oof. Yeah, pre-builts aren't really easy to swap parts. I mean, sometimes it's doable, other times it's just like kind of weird. Do, 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 do. And hurry up. There's a point standings. You can do the math, I guess. I just want to skip all this and move on to race number 5. 2. We almost have 2. Just a couple hundred off. I'm actually not that far from being able to buy another Group C car for whatever, but I already have the cars I'm going to use pretty much figured out for the rest of the series. A lot of stuff I'm not able to drive, but that's okay. Oh my. Thanks. I tried to go around him to the left, or to the right, because I kind of forget how weird the cars can be at the start of a Fuji race. Just yeeting themselves. And doing this, whatever this is in front of me. Road rage incident. All while the S2000 takes off into the sunset. This one's going to be a long one, because I know for sure these laps are going to be longer than Tokyo. And it's an extra lap. This track only has one sector. You know what? I kind of noticed that too as I passed through that sector that doesn't exist in this game for whatever reason. Like, there's one just before the braking zone for that chicane. And I think there's supposed to be another one right here. I might have to get me a gamer drink before the start of the Fuji race. It's also super hard to find your brake zone here too. That was actually pretty solid right there. I think staying in third is the strat. Should be a solid lap. I'm willing to think on a perfect lap the solid or sub 2 would be doable, but I'm not gonna have enough time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. And now that I start thinking about record laps, I start driving like this, as always. Too deep. This one's going to be a solid 205. Or 4. Actually, yeah, I'm going 204. Okay, well... yeah. Nowhere near that. I guess that 2015 wasn't as good as I thought it was. Yeah, this is definitely one snooze fest of a championship. Especially with the lack of music. I should turn on my Spotify. I can't play any music for the stream, of course, but I'll have something set up, at least for the stream, at some point. It's got to be all like non-copyrighted, of course. So as long as I find a playlist that isn't absolute garbage, then maybe eventually I'll get something. Oh, okay. There goes my... Yep, my mouse turning back on, doing that thing. Chaser Alteza, how you doing? Oh my, I almost screwed that up. Yeah, unfortunately not, or I guess, unfortunately, I don't know, but really not much to miss out on here. It's just like a 10 race time trial, pretty much. Like most races in this game. The field is just too spread out to get like decent competition. But let's just go ahead and swiftly move on. We're only halfway through this thing, and I've already been streaming for an hour and 15 minutes. So, this is a 2.5-hour championship. And then throw another 5 on top of it after. But that means the stream's only going to be like a little bit less than 7 hours long. So, not as bad as I thought. I was thinking like it was going to be like 8 to 9 hours. The Suzuka stream was 8.5-ish. Mainly because I'm stupid and I loaded a save state. I wonder how many cars are going to fly into the pits on accident. There is one Integra... Oh, no, it's not. That was the last grid that I had. If the Integra was in here, then yeah, it probably would have understeered into the pits a few times. Oh, there goes the S2000. On cold tires. Ooh, okay, not me, please. Because I remember, like, in either the Civic race or the Type R race, some cars were flying into the pits, like, over and over again. We're gonna have some pretty bad wheel spin. Let's get around this dude. I have no idea where the racing line is on this direction. Also, the gearing isn't really that great. Just having to do like upshifts for literally split seconds. This would be like a super fun track if it existed in real life as like either a karting track or just like a local short track. If I ever win the lottery, I'm definitely buying like 200 acres of land and building a racetrack on it. And it might be inspired by a Gran Turismo track. Of course, it can't be like an exact copy of one because finding the land with the right topography alone is almost impossible. But it would definitely have some features of a Gran Turismo track. But how cool would it be if, like, Polyphony and Sony actually worked together to build one of the tracks in real life? That would be sweet. El Capitan couldn't exist in real life because Yosemite isn't really laid out like that. And plus, it's a national park. They will never let somebody build a racetrack where like tons and tons of fuel is being burned up with like wildlife and habitat management and all that stuff. That will never ever happen. I could probably see them doing a rally stage at the Grand Canyon, except, like, not on the cliffs. Of course. But rally stages, they're not permanent tracks, so... Yeah, it's only this is all YouTube only for now. I've thought about streaming on Twitch, but I don't know. Twitch, for one, I don't like the platform, and two, doing both, it's kind of weird. I thought about just using Twitch for like other games outside of Gran Turismo, but then my viewership is going to be split up even more, so not sure what I'm going to do with it just yet. Yeah, I mean, Red Rock wouldn't be that hard to build, I don't think, but it would be like super expensive. With all the banking and then making it cross over itself a couple times. That would probably cost, like, if I were to throw a number out there, close to $1 billion to build something like that. Honestly, I think the best track for them to build in real life would be something like Maggior. Maggior would be like a super good one because there's so many layouts to it. And like almost anything is good to race on it. It probably wouldn't be an FIA grade 1 track or anything, but they could easily do like WEC or DTM. And of course there's 2 karting tracks or tracks for like club memberships or just regular track days. El Capitan would also be an extremely dangerous track if they were to try to like get it close to real life. My front right is dying. Also, I was not expecting to lap the S2000. I think, honestly, the tracks I would like to see them build the most in real life is OG Grand Valley, not the GT7 one. Deep Forest, or Maggior. I think Trial Mountain would be too dangerous too. That first sector is kinda crazy. Plus, they would need to build 2 tunnels. And deal with the California government. Which is by far the worst part of it. Beginner course. They could build driving park. Except for maybe test course. Actually, driving park would be like probably the best way to go about it, but instead of test course, they just build like a different kind of track as a big circuit. They'll have a Motorland, a skid pad, which will be Gymkhana, beginner course, and then the the big circuit. I mean, there's already like a couple kind of tracks that are like kind of test course anyways. But the test course probably won't. My fronts are just dead. Alright, one more lap. Just gotta suffer one more time. She hot. This is just not steering anymore. Bell pepper tires. At this point, this is Carolina Reaper tire. Alright, finally. I didn't even think about tire wear, but 19 laps around a track like this, yeah, it'll do that. Swiftly moving on. That was a 15-minute race. And 4 to go. I know we're doing Nürburgring and Lasarth. Actually, I think this is Lasarth. Yep. 2 laps, though, so... This is probably going to be 5 minutes a lap, I would guess. Actually, it's with chicane, so maybe like 5.5. Let's find out. Oh, let me turn off my mouse. Here comes a freeze. Any second. There it is. So goofy. Best car tire life in-game? That would probably be a question for T-Kanji. I think it's the Moto Pitwork Z. Now that I think about it. Or at least one, definitely one of the best. Excuse me, I'm right here. Just shove me off the track. I do have slightly more power than the S2000, so I'm not really worried about falling too far behind. I am definitely faster in the corners, though. Surprising, considering wrong wheel drive. Oh my, the Supra is trying to shove me again. What Polyphony employee drives that? I want to know. We got a nice slingshot off this guy. Okay, I'm kind of surprised I'm still pulling at 150 in this. This thing is like very little drag. Alright, now I get the big suck. Later. Now we basically sleep our way to the finish. As just like every other race. You know, one idea that I had, of course it's probably not original at all, and very vanilla and basic, but I kind of thought about whenever... Oh, my slide. Whenever GT7 Spec 3 drops, I'm kind of thinking about restarting the game on a new account and seeing what it's like with all the new NPC cars that have been added and seeing if it actually makes a difference or if the game's any more enjoyable after all the changes. Probably not, because the core gameplay and the menu system is still going to be ass. Well, core gameplay as in, like, the single-player races being chase the rabbit style garbage. Also, I still haven't even played my first Gran Turismo demo, which is just time trials and license tests, pretty much. It's like GT7 Prologue, except after the fact. Unless you consider GT Sport GT7 Prologue. Okay, I almost like fully spun out there. The rears are still a bit cold. Let me fix that real quick. Get a gnarly flat spot. And that ought to do. Just yeet the handbrake and just roast your rears. I kind of allowed the S2000 to catch way up from doing that, but it's whatever. I'm not looking forward to doing this track for 24 hours straight. Alright, race 7. Done. I think we're going to El Capitan next. Which is going to be, like, by far the easiest race because everybody knows how bad the AI are there. I know we have El Capitan, the Nürburgring, and I'm going to assume Suzuka is also one of them. Oh wait, this is race number 8. Okay, so, yeah. Nürburgring and Suzuka, I'm pretty sure. It's not a championship event if Suzuka's not in it, in this game, because they really love Suzuka. Oh, okay. That damn Supra again. It's always that Supra. I'll be all caught back up by the end of this lap or the next one for sure. Yeah, I don't even know. I got like pinched against the wall and then pit maneuvered against it. I thought about detuning the car, but eh. Eh. I might actually punt the Supra. I'm tempted. Take that. Now get off. That was probably the worst I've ever taken that corner. But yeah, this S2000's already, like, gone. For now. Until today, that is. Boop. Easy peasy. That section right back there is probably like my favorite in the entire game. But I kind of like it more going the opposite direction. Or normal direction, I should say. You mean right here? 0 out of 10. I've driven this track too much to do that. Oh, not that bridge. Oh, the one on the final corner, I guess. That one, probably 2 out of 10. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh. Wow, that was... Yeah, that was terrible. Can you even clip the corner right there? I think there's like an invisible barrier that prevents that. What's up, Freddy? Thank you, thank you. That was a torture fest, but Fuji's going to be shorter time-wise. Especially if I don't screw up again. So I'm not even planning to use save or load states at all for that. I just have 2 more races for this championship. And then it's Fuji. And then tomorrow is Dream Car Championship. I'm not exactly sure what I'm... Did I already schedule Tsukuba? I might have. Because Tsukuba 9 hours after that, and then it's the start of the Formula GT, so... I think I already scheduled Tsukuba. Formula GT is going to be like... That series is going to be like a total of 25 hours-ish. So I'm going to have to do that over the course of a couple days. So it might be a little tricky to schedule that one. I could either do 5 races a day or 4 a day. I don't want to do 3 a day because then that would mean I would have to stream like... That would be 5 separate streams. So the sooner I get to the last race, the better. Because there's a chance my time could be very limited in the last half of this month. And if I want to do the last race in a straight 24 hours, then I'm going to be destroying my sleep schedule. And I would need like some extra time ahead of it to prepare. I think I am going to detune this car for the last race at least. I might not win it, but it'll be whatever if I don't. Okay, invisible wall. Full throttle? Nope. I clipped it. Immediate fail. Alright, well, that was 12 minutes of boredom, but the track is always fun. Bam. Nürburgring next. Yeet. Alright, at least I'm 99% sure. Okay, well, it's Suzuka before Nürburgring, I guess. But I was right, Suzuka is showing up, so 5 laps. Oh, great. I have to deal with this guy again. I swear. Look at you. You're doing it already. Just going completely off the line just to grief me. Come here, you. I think if I detune the car at Nürburgring, it's probably going to be like the one I lose pretty badly to. Because I have almost as much power as or just a hair more power than the S2000. And the Nürburgring is kind of like half handling, half power. Speed and power. So, if I cut all my power, then I can only close the gap with skill and handling, which the S2000 has handling, but it's AI, so no skill. Oh, also the fact of rolling start. Oh, I'm not gonna mess with the suspension for no reason. Besides, I can't. I didn't buy a... This only has, like, the sports suspension installed from the factory, so I can't really do much with it anyway. That was quite the slide for wrong-wheel drive. Gilet Verde Gordo. I need to drive it in Spec 2. I haven't tried it yet. That's probably the card that was changed the most. Yeah, 12 car grid, I don't think it's happening anytime soon, if not never. You could do 6 cars on rally tracks, but it involves hacks and cheats, which I can do, but it's not exactly easy to do. I mean, well, once you get the hang of it, it's easy, but still kind of inconvenient. Yeah, as far as like the desync thing goes, at least I'm glad we figured that whole thing out, and hopefully it won't be a problem again. But I know some people can't use a hard drive or an emulator. Or, better yet, I should just figure out why I can't connect to USB users. But I don't even know where to begin with troubleshooting that. I don't know what it's like in Brazil, but at least here, especially lower wattage power supplies, they're all pretty cheap compared to other parts. I don't remember which one I have. I know I do have a Corsair PSU. It was like, I was looking for something specific, but it was like literally the only one I could find that was... mine's either 1,000 or 1,200 watts, because I have a 7900 XTX GPU. So, I definitely needed a power upgrade. But I think mine was like 300 bucks. Absurd. And it doesn't even fit my case properly. It's made for like a specific case where all the cables go straight to the back plate, and my case doesn't have the openings for it, so I need to buy a new case now too, if I want to have all the panels closed on it. So right now I'm just running my PC open case, so it doesn't choke itself to death. I mean, my PC won't need any more upgrades for at least a few years, but if I were to upgrade anything, like the RAM speed could use an upgrade and the CPU itself. But I would need a new motherboard for that. But my GPU, I don't have to worry about it for a very long time, thankfully. And PSU, I guess. Alright. Point standing is pretty much irrelevant because I've had this championship in the bag from the very beginning. No, it's a 7900 XTX. It's a AMD GPU. It doesn't have the NVIDIA specific capabilities that a lot of NVIDIA specific programs use, but I don't really need it. Plus, the 50 series is all AI bullshit anyways. Oh, I forgot to detune the car. Oh well. Too late. Plus, it has 24 gigs of VRAM too, so take that, NVIDIA. How do you like it? Alright, that just immediately backfired. As I said, how do you like it? Okay, that is quite the slide. The 8 point seems kind of realistic because most of the cars are just absolute snails. Considering it counts the overall grid instead of the fastest on it. I think it should only count the fastest car, because then you get situations like the 1,000 miles championship where if the AC shows up, it just drains your points entirely because you have to match its performance, but everything else is slow. So trying to get 200 points in pretty much any event where the opponents are all spread on performance is very, very hard. I need my rears to warm up ASAP. Just do this again. Just skid the rear tires until they're nice and green. Feel free. Or you could hit me, that's cool too. Alright, that'll do it. I'm definitely going to need more caffeine before the next race. If I'm going to survive another 5 hours. Because usually around this time of the day, I have a nice long nap. Because I just crash. For seemingly no reason. Yeah. Car. I just noticed, is that a giant Coke can? Pretty sure it is. To the left of the starting line. The game completion percentage is 88.1%, I think, at the start of the game, so now it should be a little past 90 after this race is done. I think. And I think the total amount of races remaining is, after this one, is going to be 28. Most of that being Formula GT and Dream Car Championship. After Fuji, it's Tsukuba 9-hour and the Sarth 24-hour with the chicanes. So in total, 14 plus 24, 38 hours of endurance racing to go. Yay. Oh, I'm not doing B-Spec this entire series. I have 0 miles on it. So, the entire thing is all A-Spec. B-Spec is cheating. Oh, okay. For the content. And for the flex too. That was a little rough. No. That's what happens when you dare tickle the green hell grass. Death. Oh, car is pretty, I wouldn't really say dirty, but not so shiny anymore. But championship is a minute away from being over. This was quite boring. But at least in the next race / episode, we'll be driving a Group C car for 5 hours. Gonna have to lock in a little more. I mean, the race itself, the AI are gonna be really easy to beat. But Group C car is a Group C car on a wheel nonetheless. Also, yeah, this is what I was talking about. That's a giant Coke can. I don't know how I've never noticed that in my 20 years of playing this game. Learn something new every day. But, yeah. Clean sweep. Don't have to come back here for the cleanup, which is nice. And, yeah, there we go. Let's go ahead and skip through this. Oh, I need to save the replay before I forget. I haven't done that yet. After we grab this. Up to 2.5 mil. Not too bad. Save this real quick so I can grab the thumbnail later. Even though I could just reuse it. Alright, I actually don't remember what we win from this championship. So this will be a surprise to me, or I'll be like, oh, I remember. Oh, well. That's actually kind of anticlimactic for an extreme event. That requires a super license nonetheless, but alright. Alright. Actually, you know what? I could use that. I know there's a specific cleanup event I need to do. So we'll get some use out of this. So, yeah. Alright, well, up next, Fuji 1000 kilometers. Yeah. See you next episode.